And as Sri Lanka grapples with an economic crisis, the newly elected president, Anura Kumara Dissanayake, is taking decisive steps to reshape the country's financial future. In a televised address, President Dissanayake called for immediate talks with the IMF regarding a crucial $2.9 billion bailout. Now, this package, it was a lifeline for Sri Lanka, helping alleviate severe shortages of food, fuel and medicines that plagued the country during its financial meltdown. While the bailout helped stabilize the economy and returned it to growth, it also imposed painful austerity measures that have left many citizens struggling to make ends meet. Dissanayake, who identifies as a Marxist, won the presidency promising to reverse unpopular tax hikes and increase public servant salaries. His victory was marked by a significant margin, securing over 1.2 million votes, more than his nearest rival, which signals a strong public desire for change. Anura Kumara Dissanayake's promises to voters includes cutting down the number of MPs. Now, Dissanayake had promised that the first cabinet decision will be to cancel MPs' pensions. MPs get vehicle permits which are sold for 20 to 30 million rupees. Remember, they don't buy a vehicle with that permit. They take a vehicle from the government for their use and sell the permit. Now, the NPP government will stop issuing permits to MPs, which is a bribe. He also said that there will be no motorcades of 7-8 vehicles to travel behind ministers, maximum 1 or 2. Isn't that good? Let's begin. He also added that this poor country cannot bear the cost of maintaining these MPs and ministers. In a symbolic gesture of change, reports have surfaced of hundreds of state-owned vehicles abandoned around the capital. These vehicles, including luxury SUVs, were reportedly left by former officials, prompting Dissanayake's administration to launch an investigation into their disappearance.
Not that they stopped on their own, but after our comrade Anura Dissanayake became president, these vehicles came to a stop. There is a reason for this. This shows how public property has been abused. This is how public property was used. If Anura Dissanayake did not win the presidency, these vehicles would be running on the roads even today. Even today, they will run with fuel obtained from public funds, from people's taxes.
Now, the economic situation is dire. In March 2020, a ban on vehicle imports was enacted amid a foreign exchange crisis, making cars prohibitively expensive. A 10-year-old Toyota SUV now costs around $150,000, while a 5-year-old Range Rover can exceed $300,000. The backdrop of Dissanayake's rise to power includes months of public protests that culminated in the storming of the presidential palace in July 2022. This unrest ultimately led to the resignation of former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, highlighting the urgent demand for change among the populace. Dissanayake, in his new plans, aims to restructure outstanding loans and negotiate better terms for debt relief. He emphasized the need to expedite these negotiations with creditors to support the country's financial recovery. The IMF has expressed readiness to engage with the new administration, emphasizing on a desire to build on the gains made under the current bailout program. However, analysts warn that the IMF is unlikely to shift its core conditions, which includes restrictions on money printing and strict revenue targets. And as President Dissanayake moves forward with his agenda, the question remains, will his administration be able to negotiate better terms with the IMF, and how quickly can the government implement measures that truly benefit the people? The answers to these questions will determine the economic landscape for millions of Sri Lankans in the months ahead. For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.